I'm Julianne Bond, and this is my new segment, Conversations in Environmental Conservation and Sustainability, where I explore the Portland Metro through the lens of great local conservationists, like my guest today, Dr. Alicia Cohen. Dr. Cohen is a poet. She is an air and climate activist. She is a developer and researcher for regenerative living spaces. And she's also the founder of Woodsmoke Free PDX. And she's going to be talking with me today about the impact of wood smoke on our air quality and also on our climate. And I'm just so excited to be speaking with you, Alicia. Thank you so much for all you're doing and for taking the time really to speak with me, because I would like to say that I really didn't know anything about wood smoke and its impact. Personally, I always thought wood smoke was like a natural thing. So how could it be bad? I guess you're going to tell us the true story about this.
Thank you, Julianne. Thank you for having me. It's so exciting to talk with you today
Great.
about this.
Yeah, no, it's my pleasure. Tell us about a little bit about yourself and how you came to be involved in this
Mhm.
work.
The way I became involved in wood smoke pollution in particular is really through being concerned about other forms of air pollution. Because, like you, I didn't have any idea that wood smoke was even bad for you. I somehow imagined that wood smoke got a pass, was different than smoking a cigarette or breathing in other kinds of smoke. I was originally very concerned about Portland's other air pollution problems, which are very serious and which I remain very concerned about, which I continue to work on. Those are industrial pollution, our diesel pollution from trucks, and also tailpipe emissions of all kinds. But in about 2014, the City Club of Portland released a report in collaboration with the Oregon Department of Environmental Quality, and they identified residential wood burning as the leading source of air pollution. And I, at first, was totally taken aback. I thought, did they do their math? There's something, is the math wrong here? Like, what, how is that even possible? I didn't even know anybody who, I knew people had a fire once in a blue moon, maybe at the holidays or something like that, but it wasn't like everyone in my neighborhood was burning wood for heat, like they're driving cars all the time. And factories are huge. How could a few wood fires here and there really create such a problem? So it took me many years of continuing to read about it and learn about it to identify and to come to understand how it is that wood smoke, which is in terms of the volume, the number of people who actually burn, the number of fires that actually happen, could have this hugely outsized pollution. And now I understand climate impact as well.
Wow. So, yeah, I mean, that is shocking to me too. And I mean, again, I would be willing to bet that not a lot of people really, this is really on their radar.
Mhm.
Although, given that I mean, we all know companies contribute to things, but the fact that it is a residential situation as well would suggest that, there could be choices that people could all be making, which I guess we can talk about. But I guess before we do that, I just wanted to know, so I understand how you came to this. So how did you happen to found wood smoke free PDX?
Well, I had been working as an air quality activist for a very long time. And I just began to recognize that this biggest source of pollution didn't have representation in the environmental groups. There wasn't a group dedicated to addressing the problem of wood smoke pollution. And that didn't match up with the seriousness of the problem. So, almost in exasperation, I would say, I finally just said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to jump in and try to make the situation better. And that's what I did. I just started a small Facebook group about less than 2 years ago. And we hit the ground running and really started to advocate for more funding for education, because really the education piece is what's missing. People do not understand the consequences of even a single fire, that even having one fire can have such an outsized impact. And just to put that into some comparables, for example, if you were to burn wood in an eco stove, the most efficient stove available in the market, for 24 hours, you would produce more air pollution in those 24 hours than you would produce driving a car, the average number of miles in a whole year. So that's the level of pollution we're talking about. And that's an eco stove. And eco stoves are much more efficient than a hearth fire or a backyard fire pit. So when you have like a toast marshmallows one summer evening, you may produce more air pollution in that one activity than you're producing all year driving your car. According to the Oregon Department of Energy, only 1% of the heating mix, it comes from wood. So 99% of people in the Multnomah County area heat their homes other ways. So it's just this tiny proportion of people really who are reliant on wood to heat their homes. And we're finding that number is actually even lower than that. It's only about 2,000 to 4,000 homes, so about half a percentage point.
Is the focus of what you guys are working on mostly to do with residential, or are you also taking on, because I'm sure in the minds of many people, perhaps people listening, will say, well, I mean, does my little backyard fire really, is that such a big deal? Like, look at those companies, those corporations, like doing things to the environment. I mean, I guess one of the things that comes up for me is, if it's not an essential thing, like, are there options that people have that they can
Mhm.
use to instead?
For those folks who are really reliant on wood heat, our group and the amazing Board of Commissioners, Multnomah County Board of Commissioners, and with the climate hero and air quality hero, Shashila Jayapal, along with our Oregon State Senator, Michael Dembrow, collaborated to get funding to try to change out those wood stoves for heat pumps, which is really the future of climate resiliency for heating and cooling. So those folks who are reliant on wood for heating, they are being exposed. They're at ground zero for exposure to pollutants from wood. They're breathing it all the time. Their kids are breathing it, and their neighbors are breathing it. And wood smoke is incredibly dangerous because it contains so many different kinds of chemicals as well, just like cigarette smoke. I mean, it's highly carcinogenic. It's even more carcinogenic than cigarettes, but it also contains particulate matter, that really tiny, fine particulate matter that gets into your lung tissue and just, it's so tiny, it lodges in there and it can't get it out. And it crosses the blood-brain barrier and it gets into every organ of the body. So those are kind of the trade-off, that you make. But when you use electric, you are, that's really the future for humanity in terms of climate. We need to electrify everything, as they say.
What do you think about those? Is it called ethanol? Those, it's like a gel kind of thing. Some of my clients have opted to use things like that. And what's your position on that?
Yeah, I think those are really an exciting development. And I have not used it yet myself, but I am planning to try them out. As I understand, you can burn them indoors
Yeah.
safely. And so I encourage people to experiment with those and to see how, to pay attention to how it makes your body feel when you burn them inside. Does it make you feel good? Outside, I think, clearly that is an exciting, frontier for us in
Yeah, I
agriculture
mean, I would
conservation.
think that, the applications that I've seen, first of all, I understand they can be ventless. So,
Mm,
you can have what looks to be a fire going in a fireplace, and it
yeah.
is with this ethanol. I was actually, and this is something else, I don't know if you've heard about this. There's something that is actually done with water, and it
Mhm.
also produces a fire. I saw it once in a hotel, a new
Mm.
hotel lobby, and I mean, it looked like the real thing. So it does sound like there are options, maybe somewhat imperfect, but at least for the moment. But it does sound like there are options.
If you ask climate activists, what are the things that you can do to really cut down on your carbon footprint, they'll point to things like flying is such a big carbon footprint, and what you eat, choosing a low meat diet or a vegan diet can have a really positive impact.
Okay, so there are these restaurants that have this like wood burning smoke, and that's a big part of, their signature, their approach to food that makes a big impact on the flavor of the food. So, are there options for those kinds of things? And again, I mean, not holding you to it, just curious to
Mhm,
know
yeah.
what could they do that would maybe be better
Mhm.
and still
Absolutely, yeah.
give them something.
Mhm. Well, I would encourage restaurants that are burning presently with wood to change their fuel source. And I would leave it to them what fuel source they use. What about having a brick oven pizza? You know, brick oven Greek food. Like cooking in a different kind of oven that produces the wonderful effects that they are looking for.
And heating that oven with an alternate to wood.
Yes, yes. It's really, really damaging to the neighbors who are exposed to that level of air pollution day in, day out, year round. They pay an enormously high price. And no matter how good you may think the pizza or chicken or whatever it is tastes when it's cooked in that stove, you know, uh, it just doesn't outweigh people's right to breathe clean air. We all have a right to breathe clean air. It's the most basic right in a way any of us have. And we all have a right to a safe climate. And if wood pollution were truly renewable on a really short time scale, if wood were really not polluting at all, it would be a different story. But data is data and facts are facts. And we just need to be realists in this moment. And we need to weigh what we care about in this moment.
This is an important issue for all of us. Clearly an important issue for all of us. It has a huge and dramatic impact on our climate and on our air quality. And it is such a part of our kind of everyday lives that we make a lot of assumptions about that we're making this choice to have a wood fire in our hearth, or a wood fire outside, or when we're camping. And just to be able to shine a light on this is just invaluable, I think. Thank you for all the work that you're doing, and thanks for sharing in such an articulate way the what the issues are, how people might make some better choices. I'm sure that people will have questions, and it would be great to know how people can get involved or learn more or follow the work that you are doing. So,
Oh, well,
yeah.
thank you so much, and thank you, Julianne, for taking this issue seriously and taking it seriously from within your role as someone in the real estate industry.
Wow. Thanks for sharing all of that. And so we're going to post some links to where people can find you, find to learn more, to ask questions, to get involved. If you have any questions for Dr. Cohen, if you have any questions for me, I mean, feel free to post them below. We'll make sure that she gets them. We're going to make sure that there are links to her Facebook and to her website and to and articles perhaps that she'll share with us. Anyway, we will continue to bring you the latest news on the conservation work that is going on in the Portland metro area by people like Dr. Cohen and the other people that are involved with her. If this kind of thing interests you, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel because you'll find the videos there. Again, thanks for tuning in and stay tuned.